Стой! 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 Стой!
The Ukrainian Defense Forces struck at the deployment point of the 448th Missile Brigade of the Russian Army, which was involved in the shelling of Sumy. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported this. On April 13, 2025, Russians killed 35 Ukrainians, including 2 minors, an 11-year-old boy and a 17-year-old boy. Another 117 people were wounded, including 15 children. The Defense Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has established the involvement of servicemen from the 112th and 448th Missile Brigades of the Russian Army in the terrorist attack. According to preliminary intelligence, the Russians used Iskander-M missiles or North Korean KN-23 missiles. Due to the similarity of their weight, size, and technical characteristics, the exact type of missiles will be determined after the examination. The 112th Missile Brigade is stationed in the Ivanovo region, while the 448th is in the Kursk region. Both of them are staffed with Iskander-M tactical missile systems. The latter's location was one of the targets of a recent strike by the Ukrainian Defense Forces. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that units of the Unmanned Systems Forces, the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and the Security Service of Ukraine, in cooperation with other components of the Ukrainian Defense Forces, were involved in the retaliatory strike. Every Russian military unit, subdivision, and their servicemen who shell peaceful cities and civilians of Ukraine will be identified and will definitely receive retribution, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine wrote in a statement. As of now, the strike's results on the permanent deployment of the 448th Missile Brigade are being clarified and will likely be available in satellite images soon. Russians are once again proudly showcasing their excellent training. Such fine coordination, going one after another. Surely this will be especially appreciated on the battlefield by Ukrainian machine gunners or drone operators.
Стой! 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 Стой!
The soldiers of the 82nd Air Assault Brigade, working alongside Allied forces, successfully fought off a mechanized assault on the outskirts of the village of Guyevo in the Kursk region. The brigade's press service shared a video of the operation. In addition to tanks and armored personnel carriers, the enemy also deployed Chinese golf carts to storm the defenders' positions. Thanks to the timely and effective work of intelligence, the enemy's advance was quickly detected, allowing the Ukrainian defenders to prepare for the assault and strategically position their firepower in advance. First, the enemy's equipment was immobilized by FPV strikes, followed by bomb drops and strikes from bomber drones. In addition to the drones, artillery also delivered strikes. It was reported that, as a result of the battle, the paratroopers, in cooperation with adjacent units, destroyed 1 tank, 3 APCs, and 2 enemy golf carts and inflicted casualties on enemy military personnel. Thanks to the effective firepower, the surviving enemy military personnel were demoralized and refused to continue with their combat mission, the brigade stated. Researchers from the War Archive project determined that the enemy convoy was destroyed on the outskirts of the village of Guyevo in the Kursk region. Russia continues its offensive operations in the Kursk region. The village of Guyevo, located near the border with Ukraine, is partially under the control of Ukrainian forces. Intense fighting is ongoing in the vicinity of the settlement. The direction toward Guyevo is one of the enemy's offensive routes. Additionally, Russia is directing its offensive operations southwest of the city of Sudzha. The invaders aim to completely expel the Ukrainian Defense Forces from the Kursk region and create points of tension in the border villages of the Sumy region. Small assault groups of the invaders are attempting to cross the border in the Sumy region. They are being held back by Ukrainian forces in cooperation with border guards. If these groups manage to infiltrate a settlement, they start to disperse throughout the village. As a result, Ukrainian defense forces are forced to commit additional resources to drive them out, weakening their focus on other sectors. Troops from Ukraine's 93rd Separate Mechanized Brigade, the 5th Separate Assault Brigade, and the Phoenix Border Detachment repelled a large-scale mechanized assault by Russian invaders near Chasiv Yar. The press service of the 93rd Brigade published a corresponding video. The released footage shows the aftermath of the assault, which it said ended before Russian forces could reach Ukrainian positions. Over the past day, the invaders made several attempts to reach our lines using heavy armor and large numbers of personnel. Thanks to coordinated action by the 93rd Brigade and adjacent units, the assault was stopped, the statement said. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones tracked the Russian convoy's movement throughout the attack. Once identified, Ukrainian forces opened fire with artillery and drones. Cluster munitions were used and remote mining was carried out during the battle itself. Around 10 Russian armored vehicles were reportedly destroyed. Due to widespread use of anti-drone covers on Russian equipment, precise identification of the vehicles remains difficult. In one unusual incident, a Russian soldier surrendered after signaling to a Ukrainian drone. The man disarmed himself and followed the drone to Ukrainian positions. OSINT analyst Mokhlison geolocated the clash to an area south of Chasiv Yar, near the village of Ivanivska, where the 5th Brigade has been operating since the battles for Bakhmut. Combat around Chasiv Yar began in April 2024 and has continued for more than a year. In July 2024, Russian forces captured the canal neighborhood on the left bank of the Siversky Donets-Donbass Canal, which divides the city. In early August, they crossed the canal, pushing into the city proper. As of mid-April 2025, Russian forces control significant parts of Chasiv Yar, though fighting continues in the city center and western outskirts. The southern part of the city remains under Ukrainian control. Russia has received 4 to 6 million North Korean artillery shells over the past 20 months, having established a maritime connection with the DPRK. Reuters published the investigation in cooperation with the Open Source Center research organization. The Open Source Center, or OSC, an independent security-focused research organization based in the United Kingdom, has tracked the transit of container ships that have delivered nearly 16,000 containers of munitions to Russia over the past 20 months.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.